Communism. Communism reaches North Korea in 1950. Imaginary lines. 38th parallel is pretty much the border between North and South Korea. Beginning of the war. It started off with North Korea pushing into the South. June 1950. In June 1950, Communist North Korea invaded South Korea. The United States came to the aid of South Korea at the head of a United Nations force composed of more than a dozen countries. June 25th. On June 25th, 1950, Kim launched a surprise invasion of South Korea. President Truman. The same spring, President Truman fired General MacArthur when MacArthur publicly challenged the administration's strategy. The two types of government. By the end of the decade, two new states had formed on the peninsula. In the south, the anti-communist dictator Syngman Rhee enjoyed the reluctant support of the American government. In the north, the communist dictator Kim Il-sung enjoyed the slightly more enthusiastic support of the Soviets, the two Koreas. Even after 50 years, Korea is still split into two. South Korea is booming economically, while North Korea's still communist struggle with severe shortage of food and energy. MacArthur's counterattack. He launched a counterattack with tanks, heavy artillery, and fresh troops from the United States. On September 15, 1950, his troops made a surprise amphibious landing behind enemy lines on the west coast of Korea. Chinese fight back. The Chinese wanted North Korea as a communist buffer state to protest their northern eastern provinces that made up Manchuria. They also felt threatened by the America's fleet that lay off their coast. MacArthur recommends attacking China. Early 1951, MacArthur called for an extension of the war into China, convinced that Korea was the place where the communist conspirators have elected to their play for global conquest. MacArthur called for the use of nuclear weapons against Chinese cities. President Truman rejects his request. Who were the combats? The war pitted South Korea and the United States, fighting under the auspices of the United Nations against North Korea and China. Other nations contributed troops too, but American forces did most of the fighting.